workshop for me. Let's
Sorry,
see.
can you hear me? I have a real issue with my network because of rain here.
Oh, okay. No, I can hear you.
All right.
I'm saying that this looks like a bespoke session for only you for now.
Okay.
Don't know if anyone will start. Okay. So let me quickly run through the slides. Can you see the slide?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So what we did last week, I'm sure you already know me. And if you don't, my name is
I do.
Anichemeato. I'm the learning director at Bekamula Learning Solutions. And what I do is to work with organizations and experts to help them with their digital learning transformation programs. And this could be as simple as just converting a simple, um, an existing content, probably virtual instructor-led training, into e-learning where their learners can now take the course independently, or it could be as much as building a platform, a customized learning platform, or pretty much revamping the entire learning, digital learning um, departments. I mean, revamping the processes of the learning departments, from creating strategies, change management, and all that. That's what I would do at Bekamola. I'm also, of course, the founder of Elite Hub. Elite Hub is the community helping the underrepresented to gain skills for edtech careers. So underrepresented doesn't necessarily mean that you're only of ethnic, minority background. Could be a woman or a guy that has been on career gap and you're trying to keep up with you know, the 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 advancement in technology. And it could be a young person that doesn't know much about edtech roles. I help, high high schools and colleges with their students to gain awareness about careers in edtech. So that's a bit about me. So the first class we did, we touched on a number of things. This is the outcome for this particular workshop, and what we're doing is to learn about free and affordable tools for developing e-learning content. Also learn how to develop course curriculum, and then create a wireframe and screen plan for e-learning course for asynchronous learning, and then learn how to develop learning courses to show e-learning courses to show on your portfolio. We've done some of this. We had quite an interactive class where we talked about simple, you know, affordable learning tools that the audience have used. If you want to know more about that, on our Discord channel, which was where we did the class, you see the charts. You'll be able to see the charts, where, very interactive class. I'm going to share that link now for anyone watching this later. You can join the Discord group and pretty much, you'll see all the things we've done in the past. So we talked about curriculum development, the affordable tools that you can use, for example, ChatGPT, Gemini, LMS. In learning design or digital learning design is not just all about using a very cool tool to create courses that are interactive and pleasing to the eye. Everything starts with, you analyzing, need analysis, collaborating with a team. Probably you have a subject matter expert if you are the instructional designer. Probably have a project manager. You have stakeholders that want an outcome from that course after the audience have taken the course. And so these are tools that you can use for collaboration, Canva, Microsoft, and then for multimedia design. Of course, the next thing you want to do is to create your storyboard. And in creating your storyboard, you're going to need, a tool to give a visual representation of what the course is going to be like at the end of the day. Get sign up before you now develop. And then there are simple tools like Genially, Colossian, Vid, Scrimpal, Canva as well. So these are tools that you can use for your prototype. And then talking about assets. Assets are your background, the character. So I know there are a lot of tools out there that we can use, but the focus of this workshop is to expose you to tools that are very affordable or even completely free. So you'll be surprised that on PowerPoint, you can get assets. You can get assets like characters in cartoon form or real life, picture form. And then some of these characters come in where you have the full body or half of the body up to the head. Some of the cartoon characters, you can even have options where you choose a particular head shape, add a particular hair shape, hair type, different structures for the face, hair, the eyes, the ear, and all that. So those are, and then on Canva, I find Canva very, very useful because if you go to templates on Canva, you're going to that have already been created for courses or different things. You can actually take those backgrounds or take those characters and import them to your authoring tool and be able to extract the characters or the background and other elements that you might find useful. And then we talked about learning design and development, which is the very exciting part for most people, which makes your course look nice, but then this should be based on the fact that you've done your analysis, you understand your audience, you understand what the people need, you understand the learning outcome that will help the people move from point A to B. And from the learning outcome, you've already created your topics and modules. And from understanding the people, you know the right tool that will work for them, you know the right um, learning experience that works for them. And then you can implement all this into your self-managed e-learning course. So these are the very simple tools you can use. Canva, you can use PowerPoint, you can use Genially. An e-learning course doesn't have to be interactive, but if you want it to be interactive so that your students can be motivated to learn, where you can include things like gamification, interactivity, and all that, animations, and all that, then you want to use a tool like Genially. But then working hand in hand with PowerPoint and Canva to get your assets, get your backgrounds. In fact, you can create a course on Canva if you feel all the elements you need are there without interactivity, and then upload it to Genially and then add your interactivity. So these are tools that are very simple to use. They have free options, and we all know Canva has you can use Canva free, you can use Genially free, and if you now want more options, you can go for the pro plan. Now, talking about developing your curriculum, it's very important that you have a modular structure. You can use Canva. There's some learning management systems like LearnDash. LearnDash has this option where if you have content on YouTube, series of videos on YouTube, you can just upload your playlists to LearnDash, and it will create a structure for you for modules and your modules and your your lessons and all that. That's one thing. That's one tool. That's an element. And LearnDash is a very affordable platform for hosting your courses. Your students can register, and then you can monitor their engagements. And the good thing about LearnDash also is that it works with WordPress websites, so you can easily integrate it and integrate other things like your email marketing, your XAPI tracking tools, and all as plugins. So for copywriting and scripting, of course, ChatGPT, Gemini. For editing with AI, there are AI editors in Canva and Genially. And, you know, I've created courses on Genially. I've created content on Canva. And one thing I found out is that if you can, AI can help you rewrite your sentences, your paragraphs. If you want it to become shorter, if you want it to become more um, more interesting, you want it to be more professional, you want to shrink it to a particular word count. And then of course, if all you just want to do is grammatical correction, these these tools have AI to do that for you. And then I mentioned collaboration. There is no learning design, especially with a team, that doesn't involve collaboration. And then you want to, Google Doc is free, you know, and these other tools. Do you have a question before I move on?
No question for now.
Okay, great. So I this is the assignment we had in part one. This assignment is this assignment was generated on ChatGPT. I asked ChatGPT to create for me a script, a course on emotional intelligence for workplace success, a beginner's guide, and that's a project that we're working on. And the winner for this um, project is going to get 3 months access to Genially Pro. So this is the course. I've already created the content. This is a quiz. It's going to be a simple course that we're going to be working with. But then last week, the first assignment I gave was when you have a course in digital learning design, which we're going to look at now, one of the features should be a hook, something that the learners see first that make them want to pretty much just jump on the course and learn more. And for the sake of this particular workshop, this is the introductory video that we want to use for um, our hook. You have the scripts there already, and I asked people to use either Genially, Vid, Camtasia, Screenpal, any tool, any video tool that you know. It could even be CapCut, you know. Create a video with this script. You can use AI avatar, you can do it yourself, you can do interactive video that has shapes and animations and text and audio. It's really up to you how you want to do it. So this was the assignment for last week. We have some submissions, so if you haven't done it, you can still do it with the second assignment we're going to introduce today. So this is the same quiz that I have here with the, I think that there are more questions for the quiz here. So let's go, let's co-create an e-learning. It's the second part. So in co-creating, of course, we want to design together. So what I want to show us today now is the framework for creating e-learning. What you must, the must do, what you have to include. So now we're going to use what we call the learning framework or principle that we're going to be using is the Gardner's 9 events of learning. And then the assets that we're using Video Creator Vid. Authoring tool is Genially. The background images will be from Canva. And the PowerPoint, we'll get characters from PowerPoint, and then content store will be Google Doc. This is what you're expected to use for the assignment. And then, like I showed us earlier, this is the assignment here. I'm going to copy, this is the content that you're using. I'll copy that and put in the chat later. It's the assignment. We have module 1. It's already structured. What we want to do today is just learning development. I'll try my best to see what I can do in 30 minutes. But before we go into that, let's talk about what a wireframe is. A wireframe is the visual representation of a course screen layout. Now, when you when you are creating e-learning, of course, e-learning means you're not going to be there. The students should be able to learn by themselves and get the outcome, the objectives, and achieve the objectives of that course. The objective for a course is usually what you want people to be able to do after they've taken their course. Before they take that course, they're at point A, and then you want to take them to point Z, or whatever point you want to take them to. B, C, N. It depends on how you structure the entire. Is the course part of an entire program, or is it the main course itself? So it's a visual representation of your course screen layout. So because you're not there, your your learners are going to move in from screen to screen, right? They're going to be moving from one screen to the other. And what this means is that you need to create screens. Your course is going to be made of screens. So you're going to be designing different screens, and you need to plan the layout of those screens. Let's say, for example, you're going to have 20 screens. Does screen one go to two or to four? Screen four, when they click a button, do you have a number of buttons that can take them to different parts of the course? And once you created your wireframe, then you now create a storyboard. Your storyboard includes the screen plan as well as the learning experience. What happens when they do this? When they click on this button, where does it take you to, and what not? So I'll quickly share with us now. 1 second, please. This. So um, while I want to quickly share with you a course to give you an idea of what I'm trying to say here. So I'll stop sharing this page and come back with it. Okay. Introduction to learning design. So where is that? Window. Okay. Let me know if you can see my screen, and let me know what you can see.
Yes, I can see a screen. I'm seeing introduction to e-learning design.
Okay, great. All right. Lady T. Button. When I click on the start button, that's the first thing that I see. Click on the start button. It takes me to a page called navigation, right? And then this navigation page is pretty much a page that tells your students what all the buttons, where all the buttons are going to. That when they see things on the screen, they can understand. Don't assume that your students will know that when they click a back arrow, it takes them to the page before, or if they click a front arrow, it takes them there. Still explain it, and then it helps them to, and this is what accessibility comes into play. You don't want to assume that everybody can recognize. Yeah, yes. So if you, so that's the thing about navigation. And then the next screen takes me to, now I already showed people that this, this takes me back home. The home is the front page. Back to index. Index is going to be like where you have the modules spread out. And then back page, next page. Those are the buttons that we have on this course. So you go to the next page and it takes you to learning objectives. Learning objectives is very important that you let your students know what to expect from the course. What are they going to learn? So that at the end of the course as well, when you do your summary, you can remind them of what they have learned, which is in line with the objectives. This is something like an energizer. Okay, you're asking people to assess their how they're feeling about their design skill, and then there's now a link for them to go and do an activity that helps them determine where they are in their digital learning design journey. Okay, let's see where that takes us to. So this is an assessment that they are going to do to know if, do you have ID knowledge, blah, blah. So that's an activity which is like an energizer. And this could have also been a quiz on the same screen. Some people would use a quiz. So, and what this helps them to do is to be able to see where they are in their understanding of that course, and if they're very okay, maybe they are 10% in their knowledge, 15, 90, and then they know what to focus on as they take the course. And then this is the index. This is pretty much like your index page when you have a book. You have links to the different lessons and the quiz, and then you still have this one that can take you back to the learning outcomes if you want to. And remember, in the navigation page, we said these 3 lines take you to the index, so you can still go back. So this is an e-learning. The teacher is not there, the instructor is not there, but I'm learning. And then I can go to lesson 1. And now I'm going to go back to the index. Let's go to the quiz and see what it's like. So quiz and assessment, it's going to start a quiz. So this is an e-learning. You can see it's interactive. There are animations happening there. Clicking on a button, people can, and it's different from when you have a PDF content and you just ask people to read. That can be boring. So this is pretty much an example of what we're going to be looking at today in terms of um, Welcome, Shagetsu. Hope I pronounced it well. So, having looked at that e-learning course, let's now look at the process that was taken, the process that we went through to achieve that. So I'll share again my slides that I was using before. Yeah. So that gives you an idea of what to expect. So this session is being recorded, and you can always watch what we did from the beginning. So I said earlier that your wireframe represents a course screen layout, and it comes before your storyboard. So when you want to create a screen plan, you use your wireframe. And what your wireframe does is to help you to ensure that you put in the right steps in delivering your course. This Gagner's 9 events of learning is the principle that is the learning principle that is used even if you want to deliver a course in the class or you want to deliver a course virtually as an instructor for an instructor-led delivery. You have to follow these steps. So on the left is Gagner's events of learning, where the first thing you want to do is to gain people's attention. Remember, so gaining attention could come in different formats. It could be a video, it could be that you brainstorm, it could be that you ask them a thought-provoking question that just gets them to think, because this is online. Well, the brainstorming will be for like in-person class where you have a group of people learning. Now, this next one is to state objective. Remember the e-learning that I just showed you had the learning objective stated. And this is to help learners' expectation by stating what the outcomes will be at the end of the course. The third thing is to recall prior learning. I showed you saw the information where we asked the question about how comfortable are they. This is a form of energizer. So you could have a short quiz to just ask them question about the course, something simple to see what they know about the course. This could so that could come in form of an interactive quiz, simple quiz, scenario-based quiz, very short though, because what you're trying to do is to get them energized, get them to want to learn more after they understand what level they are in. After you've done all that, then you want to presenting stimuli or content is 4. Number 5 here says providing guidance. For an in-person course, let's say after you've given them the content and you will now want them to do an exercise, you're going to guide them on how to do that. But for e-learning, that guidance actually comes earlier in form of a navigation page that tells them how to navigate all the screen. And then the guidance also continues. Every page where you need them to click on something, maybe there's something hidden somewhere on the screen, don't assume that they know. Always put a short description, a short call to action that says, click here to see more, click here to do more. And one thing about self-managed courses is that you want to give them in small chunks. You don't want to overwhelm them with a lot of information at a time. So, and because that is happening, your screen cannot have too many texts. You want to mix them with multimedia, which it can be in form of pictures, video, and all that. But then if you need them to learn more about a particular concept on the screen, you may put in an icon, and then if under the icon or under that sign there is more information you need them to learn, you need to put that information there. And that's what providing guidance is about. So what you have on the left and the right on my screen are the same thing. One is just linear. So the linear one in red is pretty much to give you an idea of how your screens should follow. Let's assume that each box is a screen. Then, of course, eliciting performance, providing feedback. So eliciting performance is after you've taught them, you want to give them an exercise, a quiz, whatever it is you're giving them, and then giving feedback. You have to design your e-learning in such a way that as they make their choices in those quizzes, they get feedback based on the choices they make. You have a quiz that has a question. There are 4 options to choose from. When they choose the wrong answer, they'll get a notification that it's wrong, try again. But to help them learn better, you want to give them a feedback and information that also pops up that says why it's the wrong answer. And then they have the opportunity to try again. That is, how you provide feedback. And then assessing the performance apart from, depending on what the course is, you can also give them a project and a project assignment activity that they have to work on and submit later. Because most courses we have, I mean, if you are a trainer in an organization, there will be an opportunity to have, another meeting where you check their performance and then you talk about it and give them feedback, because this is all about helping people to perform better at their job or to learn a skill. So from this is now what you call what's your wireframe looks like. What I have here is that I'm explaining what each one means and what I'm giving examples of each of those things in the box. For example, the first thing we saw on the screen earlier was gain attention, followed by informing learners of objective and then stimulating recall of prior knowledge. Let's look at how I want to design my e-learning based on this wireframe. The first thing I wrote here is there's a hook. My hook is the first thing. That's my example. That is what I've decided to use as what I'll use to gain attention. And this hook could be, as you can see here, it could be something that welcomes them into the course, a short video that outlines the benefits and outlines what they will experience. It could be in form of a video. It could be, you have to be, creative on what you want to use to hook them in. And then you state the objective. For me, for that course, I'm just outlining learning outcomes. The next one is activation, which is something that engages the learners early in the module with a small activity or self-assessment. You could have a toolkit where if you have extra, so I'm also adding a part of my guidance now, apart from the navigation page. I also want to add what you call a toolkit. Your toolkit has links to, resources. Let's say there's going to be a worksheet that they will use later, or there's a video on YouTube that I want them to watch that help them understand things better. You want to add that as well. Does anyone have a question? I feel like I've been talking for so long.
No question on my hand. I've been listening so far and I understand what you've been saying.
Okay. 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 We need someone to meet them. Okay. All right. Sorry about that. So, and then if you remember when I showed you the course, there's a page that I call the index, and that's what you now call your transition. That transition page has different boxes. They could be in form of shapes, it could be in form of pictures, buttons, or an outline. If you go on Genially, you're going to see different options of how you can lay out your index in a very interesting way. What your index pretty much does, which is the transition page, is where you have an overview of the module sections. Sorry, learners can return there after completing each section. Okay, and what you want to do is also ensure that you have a button on every page that can take people easily to the index, to the transition page, so that if, for example, I'm on module 2, I'm learning something, I remember something that I encountered in module 1 that I want to quickly check that will help me understand module 2 better. I don't have to start scrolling, like 10 pages before I get there. I can easily just see the index page, click on it, it takes me to module 1, and it's easier to just transition. This is what you call learning experience, okay, which is the learning version of user experience for a product. Your course is a product that people are going to experience. So the learning experience has to be seamless. You want to ensure that people can easily transition between, topics. And there are some courses where, because there's a lot of information in that course, you have your transition page for the, let's say, 3 4 modules. Then when you open module 1, there's now another mini transition page for the different topics under. It depends on how many stages, how many steps people need to take before they finish that course. So it's really up to you how you design that. And then these 3 boxes that follow the transition page represent the first page that they get to when they click on each module. Your transition page has modules, boxes that can take them to different modules. Now, these 3 boxes that follow are the very first page that they'll get to when they, for example, open module 1, module 2, module 3. And then everything that happens in each section is where you're presenting your knowledge. That can be 3 pages up to 10 pages or more, depending on what you are teaching people and what the course is all about. And you can also use a mix of text, video, imagery, voiceover. You want to use different options. If you understand if you understand the psychology of how people learn, you know that different people learn in different ways. Some people prefer video, some people prefer audio, some are auditory, some are visual, some they like the image, and then they want to read the text. You want to ensure that you have different options, and this you can do this by, let's say, for example, you have a video, and then thinking about accessibility. What if you have someone that has sight issue? They can watch the video, they can hear, but they can't see the text. So that's why you don't want to depend only on that. And then what if you have someone that has hearing issue? The text helps them because the audio is not going to do them any good. Or if, for example, you have a video, you can have your subtitle such that when they are, even though they can't see or they can't hear, if they can't hear, they can see the text as the person is speaking. And that's another thing to consider in your accessibility. And then the next thing is, now after each course, now you can if the course or the modules are very short, let's say 2 pages, you can have your assessment at the end of the entire course. But there are some situations where each course has maybe like 10 pages. You want to assess people on that module before they move to the other one. So you may want to have a quiz embedded into this section 1 content before you have the final quiz. And then after that is your you have the assessment. That's formally testing the learner's comprehension, usually with a quiz. And your quiz, you can be very, very creative with it. It doesn't have to just be the regular quiz where you have questions, and it can be scenario based, where there's a challenge. You get people to think, make a choice, they see the consequence. It's like storytelling. You can do that. That will also engage them and help them lock into the knowledge that you want them to learn. It will help them with understanding it better, and it aids retention as well. They can remember easily something that was like storytelling. And then you should have your summary page where you present the key takeaways from the whole module. It's pretty much like re-emphasizing your outcome, but in a different way. Now you have more information to help them remember. So for every course, you have a lot of information, a number of information in the course, but there are certain key points that you want them to remember. That is what you want to put into your summary, so that in case they missed it while reading, while taking the course, they know they have to go back and okay, if part of my key takeaway should be A, B, and C. Oh, I didn't really get that. They want to go back and do that. But you also may not put a summary if you already included summary in each section. And then you also want to tell them the next steps. Is the next steps for them to go to the next course, or do they need to access a particular toolkit? Is it a self managed course that is part of a whole program where they'll still go to class? So you want to give them instruction on what next to do. So this is your wireframe for your course. If you understand what this wireframe is about, and you take your time to think about, based on your understanding of the persona, the audience, the demography, and different things, it will help you to determine what you want to put on each screen. And after that, so this is, I was explaining to us earlier that some of your course, if you look at this, we have on the screen now, it's a little bit different. The portion that has three extension from the section overview or index, under it, this is what you have when you are dealing with a course that has enough information for them to practice that course, and you put your summary before you move to the next one. Does that make sense? This is what it looks like. And what this helps you to do, I know a lot of us want to be spontaneous, we want to just pick up that tool and start putting in information. But when you have taken time to plan what the hope would be, what the navigation page would have, your objectives, your supporting resources, when it's time to now create on your what's it called? When it's time for you to create on your authoring tool, it's easier. You're not thinking too much, you're just now implementing. So this is your screen plan from the wireframe. And then your storyboard is going to have a situation where, let's say for example, you have a team, you're part of a team where you need to get signed up for the course. Now you're not going to take each of these boxes and let's say on PowerPoint, Canva, you can now use each page, each slide as a representation of your page. And on that page, you want to tell us more about what that introductory video is like. Let me quickly share with us what that will be like, and then I'll share a link with us of this screen plan template that you can use to plan your screen for your e-learning. But before I do that, I think there's one other thing that I promised that I'll share. Let me quickly go back. Yeah, that's it. I've shared the other ones in the chat. I'll share this with us, but let me quickly show us what your storyboard would look like. We're almost getting to the end of this session. Stop sharing. Meanwhile, if you have any question, this is the time to ask. Okay.
I have one question. So,
Okay, 1 second, please. Give me a
all right,
second, please. Yeah.
sure.
I have someone on Discord. please go ahead with your question.
Yes. So I wanted to confirm, what platforms can we use to create wireframe? Can Genially, if I pronounce that correctly, can it be used to create wireframe?
Yes, so your wireframe is the easiest thing you can create. As you can see, they're just boxes. You can do it on
Mhm.
PowerPoint. You just get shapes,
Okay.
rectangular shapes, and put in your text.
All right. All
So
right. Thank you.
any platform like PowerPoint, Google Slides, Genially is a bit too advanced, except you're already working this because you want to have a flow, maybe for your portfolio. You can use
Mm-hmm.
Canva, yeah. So any platform that can help where you can use shapes and text. So, but where it gets a bit more interesting is when you now want to convert that to your storyboard, which I'll quickly share with us. Give me a minute. So this link that I'm sharing now takes you to where you can download the wireframe templates and use it. I've put it in the chat while I just pull out um while I pull out our storyboard sample. Does anyone have any other question? No questions? That makes me happy because it means you are getting it. So let's reset. Let me share my screen with this. So what your storyboard is going to have scripts as well as an explanation of what you are doing on each screen. Please confirm if you can see what I have displayed online. Yes, great. So if we take our minds back to the wireframe, I said each box we have, I think the one I showed you has like maybe 10 steps. So those represent your screens, okay? If you take your mind back to those three extensions under the overview, you have three extra screens under each. But then how people get there will be determined by your interactivity, the buttons, how you create your interactivity on your authoring tool. And for the purpose of this workshop, we're talking about Genially as the affordable tool. Or yeah, if you have already have access to a tool like Articulate or any other tool module that can do the same for you, please very much go ahead and do that. So now this is what your storyboard looks like. First of all, you want to write. Now, this format that I'm showing us works when you're working with a team and you need to present things to them and explain. The first thing is you have this screen, this part of your storyboard that talks about what the topic is for that particular screen, what the course topic is, and then is it a module? Is it module one? What screen is this? Screen one. What is the script? What is the text that people will see? And that's the script under. Following that, you now have your storyboard. I want you to pay attention to this. Now, okay, let me take us to this one. Now, let's say your screen one has, for example, this is actually not screen one. I think it's screen four, screen something. I don't remember. Now, this is your storyboard. For each screen, at one point, you put what lesson it is, what the title of the script you want to title your screen. And then what number is it? Is it screen 1, 2? Now this picture on the left gives an idea of what the screen will look like. It's not exactly what it is. What you're doing here is to give people an idea of what's going to happen. And on the right side, you now explain to them what happens. The first one is the navigation information, which talks to them about. This one says when a card is placed in the right position, it says it stays while it returns to its original position if placed in the wrong block. You're telling them what will happen. This is for collaboration purpose. You have stakeholders too. You don't want to go ahead and build something on Articulate, on Genially, Moodle, spend so many weeks or nights or hours, and then you come back and they're saying, no, this is not what we want. You want to give them an idea that this is what will happen on this page, and then you now give them information. Okay, the heading and description show that. You also want to show them how you are using learning principles, multimedia principles, design principles. Okay, depending on who you are talking to, and this being able to do this helps you also with if you want to get a job as an instructional designer in an organization where all you are doing is not just to train people, but to also be part of the learning design, initiatives. And then you're talking about what the visual demonstrated color contrast. These are design principles in place. There are 2 cards, they'll be sorted, likewise, blah, blah. And then at the bottom on the left, you're also writing the text. You see all the text that we saw here as scripts. If you look at this page, which is the part that has orange background, that is what the only thing that the screen will be. All the other things around here are explaining the screen so that when somebody picks this up without you being there, they understand what you're trying to say. And then this is a screen, the text on screen. And at the right bottom, you want to give them the opportunity to give you a review. So this is what a storyboard looks like. The ability to create a storyboard gives you the opportunity to show that beyond being a facilitator or being able to create curriculum, you can also design learning experience. This is where you talk about the learning experience. And it could be different pages. Here is another one with the script. These are all the scripts down, which means the content that people will learn is the scripts. And then other things that are added are, on this left side, you have the screen itself. It has arrows. It has where people will click to move to different topics. And then at the bottom, you also have, so on the right side, you explain what happens. At the bottom, at the top, you explain the navigation. When they click on something, it goes to the other. When they click on something, and at the bottom, you explain more about the visuals, the information and media. So this is a storyboard. These are examples of scripts and storyboard. This is a text storyboard. It's not visual. It's just a text storyboard for content for a quiz. At times, the storyboard that you are being asked to design is all text, but then to make it come alive and help them understand it better, this is the visual version of this text. Now, does anyone have any question? So your ability to create a storyboard gives you the chance to, be able to show your worth as a learning designer. We have gone beyond our time. So I showed us earlier, there are 2 assignments. The first assignment is for you to create a video using any tool you want. The next one is for you to go on Genially. If you look in the chat, you're going to see app.genially. Just pick up a template for a course and create a course, a prototype of a course. Another way to create a storyboard is to pick up a very simple tool like Canva. Or for Canva, you can lay out your screens the way you want them to be, but people cannot click. They can't click buttons to move to other. There's no interactivity, so to say. So that may not really work for prototyping, where you want whoever you're designing the course for, maybe a client, to have a feel of what it will look like. So at times, your storyboard will not be like this. It will be in form of a prototype. You pick up a tool that is very simple to use and just give them an idea of what the course will look like. and they can experience the interactive, they can click buttons, but it's not the actual thing. It's just something simple that I can do quickly. So I want us to create a prototype for this course. Now I'm going to put in the what's it called now? The If you scroll up, you're going to see the scripts that I put for the video, which will be your hook. And then the second one I'm going to share now is for the course that I want you to create on Genially. Just go on Genially, click a template that says course, and then play around. And one of the things about creating a storyboard is before you come up with a design, which is a storyboard, you want to play around tools like Articulate, Storyline, Articulate, Rise, Genially, Moodle that have templates and have an idea of how these things work, or go to and look at courses online to get inspiration. And then you can create a very simple prototype. If the client or the people you are dealing with, giving them a prototype will not work, then you can now translate that prototype, do screenshots of that screen, and put in storyboard format like what we have on the screen. That's a process to show what you can do as well. Does that make sense? Yeah. So we're running to, I want to share with us now a the content for the assignment. So you can create the video using any video authoring tool. The script is already on the screen. It's also um, in Discord where we were before we came in here. I'm going to also put in the chat there the script for the main course and the tool you should use. The best design will get access to 3 months of pro version of Genially, and then we have the chance to grab that opportunity. I just want to quickly share the content so that when people are watching this, they can also have access to it here on Butter. Where is it? Where is it? So this is a point where you ask your questions, because in like 2 minutes we're going to end this meeting. Let me ask a question. Has any one of you here ever created a storyboard before? Have you created a storyboard before?
So at this way, there
Yes.
was a training I did in the past where we created a storyboard, and I think we used PowerPoint for that.
Okay. Was it this comprehensive?
Yes, it was comprehensive, but I noticed that there are different templates for a visual storyboard. So for
Mm,
yours, there were some, I think, should I say screen number now? Because I didn't have
yeah,
screen number for my storyboard. So I noticed that for yours. So that
yeah,
was a very good idea
yeah, yeah.
that I saw. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Because when you have, like I gave an example that if you are running out of creative juice, you can pick up a template from an authoring tool, create a prototype with a course quickly if you have been using the authoring tool, and then you can now do screenshots. But make sure it's very super simple. It's not as advanced as what you want to give them later. Create something simple. The screenshot is what they need to see, right? Screenshots of those or download them as JPEG and insert them at that corner. And then it's also good for them to be able to know that this is screen 1, screen 2, screen 3. Okay. While you now explain other things, and you also always give them the option to get review, to get a feedback from, because really you need to get feedback from them whether they want you to change a particular color, they feel the color is too much, they want it in a different way. I mean, this is for when you are designing. So I want to share with us the scripts, and then I can let us go. So what about you? Does it mean the other people haven't created a storyboard before? Let me know. And how useful was this for you?
Hello, Chidera here. Um,
Okay.
I I actually joined in a bit late. I didn't know it
Yeah.
was at 12.
Yeah.
But I did see the storyboard, the script and the storyboard. that post. It was really interesting. I've not created a storyboard before,
Okay.
so yeah,
Interesting.
I was just taking some
Okay.
screenshots so I can know how to.
Okay, great. So the great thing is we have this page, this session recorded. So I'm
Okay.
going to be sharing it with you. Did you register by email?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so you'll get it in your email, or if you come um, to Discord, you can also see it there. But what I'm going to make available, I'm using this platform because this platform will give you access if you watch it almost immediately, especially if you have signed up on this platform, which is Butter. You'll be able to
Okay.
see all our chats and follow. You'll be able to, of course, you can see the screen, what I'm sharing, and also watch and understand what we have learned today.
Okay.
Even though what I want us to do is to just create a course on Genially, I think it's good practice for you to use what you have on the screen to create your own um, screen storyboard, starting with the wireframe first. We did
Okay.
wireframe, screen plan, and storyboard, and I explained everything in this video so you can see. I've just put in the chat the second assignment. And the last thing I want to quickly share with us is the program that we have just launched. Now, so we have this boot camp, which last year we had only one. This year we're having only one also. So if you are thinking of enhancing your skill in digital learning design, what we do is to take our students through a, a practical hands-on boot camp where you, from the beginning of the program to the end, you're involved in a project, a real project with a company here in the UK. We're going to be we'll be involved in the digital learning transformation program. They'll provide the usually we work with non-profit organizations that we are supporting them. They're not paying, but you have access to be able to in, engage with subject matter experts and ask questions about, you know, there is a way you onboard your clients. What questions do you ask? How do you get information out of them that will help you, create the right learning solution for them? We'll go through things like need analysis, understanding the persona, understanding the organizational goal for the course. We'll create screen plan, storyboard. We'll create wireframe, and you develop the course as well. And at the end of that, you also be able to be involved in portfolio design, because when you create your course, how do you now create a portfolio with those projects to show to recruiters? Or if you want to get promotion, or if you want to use it in your organization, how do you create a portfolio? And then you also have access to LinkedIn optimization, CV optimization. It's a whole package. It's a 12-week program. I'm going to quickly share it, and in 30 seconds, we should be out of here. So that's it. So the link is this. If you want to check it out later, it's elitehub.org/bootcamp. Very simple um, page. Trying to look for okay, there you are. So bootcamp program. Let me know if you can see what I'm sharing. Okay, great. So this is it. 3 months program to become a professional e-learning designer, and you get a certificate at the end of it. You learn different things, how to apply learning principles. Today we talked about learning principle for creating your e-learning. There are many more learning principles around need analysis, around designing your learning experience, multimedia design, um, um, visual design, learning design itself, learning experience design, which is like use UI UX for learning, and then curriculum development. How do you streamline? How do you help your subject matter experts streamline the knowledge they have into content that is the only useful content that they need for to help their students achieve the outcome. What do they need learners to be able to do after? How do they streamline the content so that they don't overload their students? What formats do they use? What materials should they make available? All of those things you learn them. You learn different ways you can use your e-learning skill to also generate revenue, either as an employee or self-employed. You'll be involved in live project that gives you hands-on experience. You learn how to create your portfolio, resume. You have access to e-learning global opportunities and community of e-learning professionals. And you'll be able to learn learning theories, instructional design theories and models, how to manage an subject matter expert and stakeholders, which is the project management aspect of your learning design. It's a very crucial part, which if you get it wrong, at the end of the day, the course you create will not make any impact, and you probably would have wasted your time. E-learning development, LMS admin will have introduction to LMS administration, learning analytics, data storytelling, CV optimization, different ways to earn skills, and you develop. So what you would do, you develop project plan, need analysis, scoping documents for your e-learning, drafting learning outcomes, evaluation strategies, digital and learning experience, which is storyboard, developing your first e-learning project and creating your portfolio and mock interview. So the course is for you. So we have this time, we have instructors, we have a talent and development professional that is going to take you through the area of getting a job or, showing your value at work. And we have myself and Kim, we are digital learning professionals. We have years of experience in this. We'll take you through the project. We are likely to have more people, but for now, these are the three people. So the plan is to have four instructors, but for now, these are the three. And then if you want to look at testimonials, look at Lyle. Before Lyle joined us last year, he didn't know much about structured processes, but now based on implementing what he did with us, what has happened to Lyle. So this video shows his testimonial after the course, how impactful he found it. And down here is what has happened to him in the space of 6 to 7 months. Now he's now in another organization at a higher role based on what he learned. This is Susan. Susan found the course very impactful. You can listen to her. And then months down the line, Susan has been promoted based on the fact that she was able to show her value from what she learned from the project that she did. So if it's something you're considering, the price is there. If you want to pay once or if you want to do installment payments available, those are the options for you. So you can check it out later. So in the absence, do you have any questions for me? In the absence of any question, that's the end of today's class. You'll get access to the recording of today's session. In your email or in the Discord group. So thank you for attending today. See you next time.